Hello and welcome to Trigger Warning. We're back again. I'll be introducing our guest tonight, Count Dankula, very, very soon. But before we do, I've got a load of shit for not doing some call-outs and some other things. So let's quickly get that stuff out of the way and we can crack on. First of all, I do say thanks to Accounts Direct, without who we wouldn't be able to keep the lights on here. So if you are a small business owner or self-employed, just throw all your shit in a box, give it to them. And if you're in the shit, they'll get you out the shit and keep you out the shit. Go to accountsdirect.biz. Like I say, without them, we'd never keep the lights on here. And very quickly, Happy Dog, Drone Tech Hello, Drone Tech. How you doing, mate? Smoke Steve, John Nicholson, Mr. Sumtosser. Did I mention Happy Dog? You'd get awfully vexed if I don't mention Happy Dog. Yeah, I mentioned Happy Dog. John Nicholson, Aphid Lip, and Stevenson as well. Fantastic. And happy Thanksgiving to all our American chums. I do hope your deep fried turkey was crisp, delicious, and yeah, whatever. Hope you had a lovely day and there've been fireworks and stuff like that. Okay, now, I don't want to waste time because we've been waiting about 2.5 years to get hold of this fella. So let's bring in, it's Count Dankula. Hello.
Hello, how you doing? You caught me in the middle of rolling. Sorry.
That's quite right. You roll away. Yeah, because we did actually try and get you just after you had your initial problems when you came out as Scotland's premier Nazi. And of course, you were very busy. You were scissoring with Tommy Robinson and doing all those things. But now, luckily, we've obviously caught you on the way back down. You know, and managed to hook you in. So that's fantastic. How you doing, fella? Is life treating you well?
I've actually been doing all right. Yeah, lockdown has been a complete bitch and a pain in the arse, but apart from that, I've actually been doing all right. How are you? How are you with this lockdown?
Super. It suits me down to
Really?
I like working from home. I don't like. I like social distancing anyway. And you know, I've got my wife and kid at home. I'm perfectly happy. You know, yes, obviously, you know, the money worries, the stress, the dying relatives, things like that are a problem. But I find if you sail past the small shit, you're gonna be all right. You've got a nipper on the way, don't you?
Yeah, March. She's due. Yeah.
Oh, you must be getting super excited. As she gets more bad-tempered, you're getting more excited. That's fantastic.
Yeah. She has been like really, really angry lately as well. Plus she's getting huge, which is funny. Like she likes to sit up on the kitchen counters, and today she sat on the kitchen counter and she couldn't get back down and actually had to shout on me to come and help her. You know, because she's getting that big. I laughed.
It gets worse.
But I laughed.
No, but it's all your fault. And but you know the best thing is, you know, I briefly mentioned in DM to you. It's fucking awesome being a dad. You're going to love it. You know, what you won't like is the amount of advice you're about to get.
I've already been getting it.
Oh, it doesn't stop.
Been getting that, yeah.
It doesn't stop. It drives you fucking mental because they didn't get an instruction book with theirs either. But they're all experts. So, by the way, congratulations, the 50th episode of Mad Lads.
50. I didn't even know. It wasn't until I went to add it to the playlist and it said 50 videos in the playlist, and I went, oh, well, there you go. 50 episodes. It's flew past.
I've got to admit, I really do love the Mad Lads stuff. That's one of my favourites. Obviously, I'm way too old for meme culture. It means nothing to me. And I'm going to be straight. I'm not that fascinated about the size of your cock either. So, you know, but the Mad Lads thing does it for me. I do like that. I've got that one on my watch list for later when I get home. And I've settled back at home and I'm chilling out. I'm going to watch the Blackbeard one because I'm quite looking forward to that. And you've just taken some help on with that, haven't you?
Yeah, I've actually hired people because I was getting to the point where, like, even now, even with the help, like, I don't get days off. Like, I don't get that. I'm always working from like a few hours after I wake up and then I've got like maybe a few hours before I go to bed, and I was getting burnt out. So I've got writers now that help me because the researching and writing took up the vast majority of the time. But even though I've got 2 writers working for me, I still somehow find myself having no free time. So I'm like, how'd that happen? How does that work out? It turns out that like life just has a funny way of doing that to you.
Yeah, life ensures you don't have enough free time to. Well, you were demonetized for quite a long time on YouTube, weren't you?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then I believe was it H3H3 came to your rescue?
Yeah, it was. He actually
I'm
came
name
and helped
dropping
me
there
out.
like I know who that is. Graham had to tell me. I had no fucking clue. Someone explained Keemstar to me once and I needed a shower. I don't understand any of that shit about drama, but since that's come on, so clearly, you know, you're taking people on for that. It can't be long now till you got a fluffer and all the stuff you really need. You know? You're on the way. Graham was complaining your kitchen's bigger than his flat. You know, you're doing well.
Oh, that's because I live in the middle of nowhere. I live in the middle of nowhere. Like my neighbours are all like cows, like literally cows in a field next to me. And I always
I'm
get
drinking
people
ginger
the city
tonight,
like,
by the way.
Yeah.
Just so you know,
I'm
showing solidarity.
extra. Oh, that's the. They've changed the recipe of Iron Brew, which was absolute, you know, apart from losing independence, was an absolute stain on Scottish history.
Well, my wife's Scottish, so when the family was still alive up there, most of them have passed away of premature heart attacks. Glasgow, you know what I mean? They just drop like fucking flies. But I have been the English bastard for years and schooled on fish suppers and Iron Brew, and when I'm not allowed to go out because there's a Rangers-Celtic match going on. Yeah. Oh, and buying fags from the ice cream van.
Yeah.
That never gets old.
Cultural traditions. Yeah. Well, they used to the ice cream vans back in the day used to sell a lot more than fags. Let me tell you.
Is that why they all shot each other?
Actually. Yes. I mean, see if they. I mean, everyone has this idea of the ice cream man of being this very friendly, lovely, happy person. But in Glasgow, if your ice cream man has a lot of tattoos and a scar down the face, then he's probably the man you can buy drugs from too.
Imagine that, a 99 and a wrap. That'd be fantastic. Down here, it's just Mr. Whippy. That's all we get. Do. Oh,
that's honestly what they used to do. Like the ice cream vans, like. They would sometimes go out for an entire day and not sell a single ice cream. Honestly, I've no idea how they didn't get caught. Like I think this continued for about 20 years before the police went, "Why are we getting no dealers on the street, but everyone's still got drugs?" As the ding-a-ling-a-ling.
I was going to say, I love the
by.
idea that you knew your dealer was on the way because you could hear the fucking blue Danube just coming down the street.
That's how you signal to everyone without alerting the police. Like even police would go, "Oh, that's just the ice cream van," but what they don't know is there's probably about 3 kilograms of heroin on it. Like that.
Oh shit! I thought I was being fancy buying like Lambert and Butler from it for my mother-in-law. Because I remember I went to the ice skate. They lived in Gathamlock on the scheme. Lovely place. Lovely people. Salt of the earth. But of course, I go to the ice cream van. And there's all kids around it. And me asking for cigarettes, it must have sounded with my accent like, "Oh, hello. I am English. Would you give me your finest cigarettes, please?" They followed me back to the fucking flat to make sure what was going on. The thing with Scotland, though, you had these lovely, you know, drug delivery to your street with a musical accompaniment, deep fried goods. Excellent
we invented Uber Eats.
Exactly.
Except it was Uber smack.
Yeah, secular violence. You had it all going on. You know, you were doing well. Apart from the independence thing, you were doing fantastic. You know, because you were having religious wars that didn't involve bombing. And that's always good because you only get hurt if you want to take part. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. But of course, your new king and Minister for Justice and Thought Crime. I did want to talk to you about Humza Yousaf. How are you feeling about all this?
He's a fascist. Like putting it down there. I mean, he's a member of a highly nationalistic party centered around a political, ethnic, or national identity, and he wants the government to have a lot of power over what people can and cannot say, and that's kind of fascist. Like, I don't know. I just love getting to use their own language against them. I'm never going to turn down the opportunity to do that. But this man is a wannabe tyrant. That's all he is. he's trying to pass the Scottish hate crime bill, and he's being so schemy and seedy with the way he does it. Like, he's had to defend it in Parliament twice, and on both occasions he failed catastrophically. Like, I mean, see, when you're talking about taking away the human rights of 6 million people currently living in Scotland, you don't turn around and go, but I get mean tweets. I get mean tweets, so fuck your rights. It's like, that's not a good enough reason. And this is the thing, is like, I'm not trying to blow my own horn or anything here, but I'm literally Scotland's biggest like free speech advocate, right? And he has ignored me at every turn. He will not engage with me. He will not discuss it with me. And there's lots of other like free speech associations that don't have reputations for being, you know, edgy meme boys or anything like that, and he won't even speak to them. And that's the thing, is like, the only reason he's trying to defend it in Parliament is because he has to, right? But whenever it comes to actual proper debates with any free speech groups or advocacy outlets or anything, he refuses to speak to them. And I think it's because he knows he can't defend this bill.
Oh, it's that. But also, we do live in a time where if you believe in free speech, you are a Nazi. Now,
Yes.
I'm not a scholar on World War II, but I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that I don't believe the Nazis were all that big on free speech.
I could
be wrong.
Not.
That's the impression I get.
This is one of the funny things as well, is they did not like mockery because they knew the power behind it. They knew that if people could make fun of you and take the piss out of you, then people wouldn't take you as seriously. They wouldn't be afraid of you. You know, it delegitimized your power, you know, the way that you were perceived by the populace. And one of the most famous stories that everybody knows about that's kind of related to mine was the Finnish man who, back when Hitler was in power, he taught his dog to Nazi salute, and basically the German government tried to come after him, and they tried to, you know, the Nazis tried to cancel him. Is what I'm saying. They tried to get him fired. They did all sorts of schemy stuff to like ruin this man's life, and that's a well-known. Ultimately, nothing happened to the guy apart from a bunch of harassment, and everybody knows that story. But there was another story that I found out about, and it blew my mind when I heard it. And this was, I forget the name of the guy and I forget the name of the book, but it's just an excerpt from it that I've read. And this was from documents. You see how the SS had stations situated all over Europe, and any, you know, actions or anything they did in the area were all logged and all catalogued. Well, in documents that was retrieved from one of these stations, it turned out that there was a travelling circus that was in town, and it turns out that the monkeys that they had for one of their acts, they had actually taught the monkeys to Nazi salute. The SS found out about this. They were not happy about it, and so they ordered the monkeys to be destroyed. The Nazis literally killed circus monkeys because they had been taught to Nazi salute, and they seen that as mockery.
There's something I've got to check on here, though. The Finnish man that taught his dog to Nazi salute, nothing came of it.
Nothing happened, no.
You did it, and you got found guilty in a court of law.
After a 2-year trial and having my name dragged through the papers and everything.
Well, yeah, that's the next thing I did want to get to. But so basically, the government up there treated you worse than the Nazis treated a Finnish man.
Yes.
Fucking hell.
My trial also lasted twice as long as Nuremberg.
That's not one for the win column, is it? No matter what you do.
No, that's why I'm at the point where it's just like, the SNP are the ones that are championing all of this, and they're putting it through. Not so much Labour. They agree with me on Jews. I'm kidding. but
Can I just say, young Alex, clip that out. That's a clip on its own. We've got it.
That's what I don't get about this. You still think that they look good. Like, this is the thing, is like, I've even the vast majority of people in the street that I meet, I would say the overwhelming majority of the population, like the most common opinion I get is people saying, I didn't like the joke, thought it was a crass joke, thought it was a very, very rude and offensive joke, but he should not have been arrested for telling that joke, and that is an absolutely fair opinion. I have no issue with that opinion. I'm not asking people to like the joke or find it funny. I just want them to know and acknowledge that it is a joke. That's all it is.
When it happened,
But like,
obviously I'm not going to rehash the whole thing, but just to give you something right along what you said, we spoke about it, and I think we were doing the Live Leak show back then. And my take was, like, you know, the guy's just done a bit of shit posting. He's made a joke.
Yeah.
And that's it. Now, in the building we're in, there's quite a lot of Jewish folks that work here. And on polling them, I could not find anyone that gave a fuck. Not that it was a bit offensive, just like, oh, right, and? Why did he teach his dog to do that? Oh, because it was his girlfriend's favourite dog and he thought it'd be funny. He was just like, oh, fucking, oh. That's it.
Yeah,
that's where it ends for most people. So
the
one
thing that was funny about it as well, this is the thing is, nobody actually made a complaint to the police. It seems that the press reporters kept reaching out to the police and basically trying to get comments from them. And I think it was the press instigating it that got me arrested, because the press knew there would be a story about it. And the reason I believe the press were colluding with the police is, in the days leading up to my arrest, like when all the stuff kicked off, I had a bunch of reporters in the street, but then things calmed down and there was nobody in the street for a good few days, nobody at all. But then when the police arrived to arrest me, there was reporters there waiting for them, which basically means that the police, either the reporters are psychic or the police tipped them off to where and when I was going to be arrested. And when the police do that, they're supposed to have a written record. They're supposed to be, I forget the name of the document, but any police liaisons or interactions with the press, they're supposed to be noted and they're supposed to be recorded. So no document exists of that. So the two explanations for that are either these reporters were psychic or the police broke the law.
You see, well, the thing is, the press are, well, I don't have to tell you, but they are fucking arseholes. I won't go into the whole story. They desperately tried to get me fucking killed at one point back in history, but they couldn't find where I lived. But they tried, they got in the rough area and started printing that. They were going out the way for something to happen. They love a bit of that. Anyone that's awkward or, you know, that they don't like, well, I mean, yours brilliant, arrested, whatever, convicted, fucking unreal, or dead. Dead is even better. And I often wonder, you know, like when you said that every time you've gone to get a job or something, it's just the offence culture pile in, you know, the fucking grief junkies to fuck everything up for you in your life. I wonder how much of that is random fucking balloons off the internet and how much of it's press generated. Genuinely.
Like, that's the thing is, after my experience, I view and literally everything I consume in the media, like from mainstream media, no matter what outlet it's from, like I take all of it with a grain of salt. Like whenever I'm not at the point anymore, whenever I read anything in the media, I'm like, yes, that's the absolute truth. Those are the facts. That's what's happening. Right. I take it as that's probably the gist of what is happening, but then the rest of it is just all lies. Like that's the way I see it now. I don't see any kind of media as a bastion of truth. You know, everybody's got their bias. Everybody's got their they've all got their agenda and message that they want to push. So that's how I don't trust anything that I see in the media anymore. If I see any story, like especially after what happened to me, if I see any story, I take everything the media say with a pinch of salt now.
Oh, you have to. Look at the stories they generate. They generate shit. They sit basically nowadays. Being a journalist involves waking up, scratching your balls, or lady balls. Got to be inclusive, right? Waking up, doing that, checking Twitter, looking for any post that has two sweaty inbreds complaining on it and going, today that is going to be the story. It was like the one where someone complained because on a shopping trolley, the picture on the handle was of a woman with her children. It was like two fucking lunatics on Twitter, one of whom probably had a beard, complaining about it. The press got hold of it and turned it into a story. And I was watching that happen. And I thought, I wonder how often this happens. Then you find 3 or 4 more. And then, you know, but none of the journalists that I know ever seem to think it happens, which is very unusual. You thought being a journalist, they'd have been aware of what's going on. I'm sure they've got reasons not to. With the case, by the way, it's not quite finished yet, is it?
Well, there's a chance that it might be because of a technicality with the European Court. Basically, whenever I submitted my application, you've only got a time limit to do it, and it's supposed to be within a certain number of months after your final rejection in a appeal court in your own country. Now, even though I was rejected from the Supreme Court, it wasn't an official rejection, which means it's the previous one that counted, not that one, which means I would be out with the time limit. But I'm waiting to hear back more on that. So we're kind of like we filled out the application completely correctly, but it seems that there was a little legal loophole bit that we were not aware of that kind of got us screwed on that. I don't know, that's the gist that I know, but we don't know the full information on that yet, so I'm waiting until I hear more back before I make any kind of announcement. But yeah, that was get found guilty in court, took it to the Sheriff Appeals Court, which went so well that the judge that we appealed to threatened to have my lawyer arrested for doing his job. Yeah, we went to the High Court. They told us to bugger off. We went to the Supreme Court. They told us to bugger off. We did nobly officium that when I went in front of the 3 highest judges in the land, they told us to bugger off. So we tried to go to the European Court, and they've also told us to bugger off. But at least the Supreme Court, the European Court, did it on a technicality and not because there's people above them. Yeah, people above them pulling the strings because they really want this precedent to stay in law.
It's fucking madness. If you could, because I noticed someone asked this in chat as well, and it's Danny. Everyone gets asked these sort of stupid fucking questions, but if you could go back, would you do it again or would you double down?
I would double down.
That's it. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted to say.
Because see, after it happened, see if you watch me doing interviews and all that, you can tell this is in probably about a month or 2 after the arrest. I'm really timid. Like my balls have been completely cut off. I'm being dead carefully what I say and who I speak to and all this stuff. But then it got to a point where I'm like, oh, maybe if I just bend the knee, everything will calm down and all this type of stuff. But it didn't. And then I ended up getting to the point where I'm just like, fuck you. I'm not. And that's how I'm at, see, when you've already been cancelled 17 times, you're not really afraid of it anymore. And when you just kind of say what you want, and if you get reporters screaming at you, I'm like, what are you going to do? Or you're going to write another article calling me racist? Put it in the pile.
What was the latest one? A yob. You're a yob, weren't you?
They just outright called me racist. They just said you're racist and everything, and that was the Daily Record as well. They just called me racist, straight up.
Racist yob. No fucking about now. No, just because what I like is not only did you come out of the I'm not bending the knee, you then threw on a suit, joined UKIP, and had a bit of a crack at that as well, which was most enjoyable. I'm going to be honest with you. Because seeing you over in Europe gave me a giggle. I'm not going to lie, because Sargon looks like he belongs there. He does, doesn't he? He looks like one of the boys. Paul Joseph Watson, and then it's like, is that fucking Count Dankula? What the fuck? Yeah. I mean, that was one of our favourite things. The whole thing. It's like, well, that's turned out differently to how I thought this was gonna go. How did you get on over there? Was it nice? Did you get when the discounted meals? Because I got one of them at NATO. Did you get plenty of those over there?
No, I didn't. I did manage to. There isn't actually a canteen. It's a bar. Just have a bar, an actual pub, and in between all the votes, all of the MEPs are in this bar getting drunk, and I'm just kind of sitting there you're voting on legislation for a good few 100 million people, and you're having a few pints before you go in.
Stiffness. Just settles the fucking nerves, doesn't it? That sounds like a lot more fun than NATO.
Honestly, the one thing that really bothered me about them was there was a part, like there's the main area, the main vestibule and all that. You're allowed to film, you're allowed to do interviews, and that's where all of the news crews and everything. There's news crews and media personnel constantly in there, and they're set up all over the place. So that's the big main area where they all film. But there's a second area before you go into the big main hall, and you're not allowed to film, no cameras, no phones, nothing. And it was only in this second area that the MEPs would speak to us. It was only in there they would speak to us, because they knew that if they fucked up on camera, there would be no, there's no way we could record them and catch it. And there was a few MEPs that we were speaking to, and we were bringing up, this was to do with Article 13, back when it was called Article 13. And we were calling them out on specific parts of the legislation. And we were like, what about, paragraph 16, section 3 and everything? How do you feel that that's going to affect small businesses? The guy turned around and looked at his assistant with like a deer in the headlights. And we were just like, you've not even fucking read this. You've not even read this. You're about to go and vote this into law, and you haven't even fucking read it.
Well,
and that was the case for so many of them.
Isn't the process so very much there, though? The edict comes down from the unelected, and our MEPs, who can change it from the inside, rubber stamp it, and if they fail to rubber stamp it, it's put before them again the week after, so they'll rubber stamp it. Isn't that their whole purpose? So,
yeah. If a vote doesn't go the way the EU Parliament wants, it will just keep putting it through again and again until they get the result that they want.
As Ireland found out, obviously, years ago, and now they're in a far more enlightened state. Currently trying to cancel women, from what I can tell. That seems to be the in thing. Speaking of Ireland and women, did you ever patch things up with Graham Linehan?
He has expressed regret and remorse for what he did to me, and he has says that he would like to speak to me and he would like to patch things up with me and stuff like that. And I would be willing to do that. I would be willing to do that. We haven't spoken yet. We actually haven't had a chat or anything yet, but I would be willing to have a chat with him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a personal friend of Graham Linehan. We exchange messages on occasion and things, and even mentioned briefly, it seems to echo very much what you said. That'd be really cool if you, I don't know why it'd be really cool, like, all the band's back together, like, would make any difference to my life, But I think it would be cool, because I think he found out that being on that side of the fence where he was, you're just surrounded by fucking sharks. No one cares for you.
That's one thing I've noticed about them. It's like, it's almost like prison, where you have your gang that you hang out with, but that like they'll knife you, they'll just shank you like the first chance they get. That's the thing, is like over there, all of them, like it's like the sharks in the ocean as well.
Yeah.
If you get wounded, your own friends are going to devour you. like that.
Well, that is exactly, because that's exactly what happened to him, wasn't it? Like, even personal friends, like, even if I agree with you, fuck you, you're out on your own now.
Yeah.
Massive cancel culture show. Well, what we did last year, we had like a free speech event here in Manchester, in a place that can't be cancelled. We only had room for 40. We got 40 people in. We did all that. And we were going to do more than this year. But when the plague is over with and all the people of the average age for death in the UK do indeed die, and we're pumped full of genetically altering drugs that leave us looking like the Toxic Avenger, we're probably going to do more. So hopefully we'll manage to try and persuade you to visit civilization and join us at one of these, because I'm sure there's quite a lot of interesting stuff to hear. Although you will be pleased to hear, and I'm sure you may have noticed, the Law Society have recommended to Parliament down here that we adopt something very similar to Humza Yousaf's thought crime bill. So you're not going to be alone. It's just that you're going first.
Yeah, oh no, that's always been the case for Scotland. Every type of legislation, even the fucking smoking ban. We're the test case. We're the trial group.
You'd understand if England had done it to you, but the Scottish National Party, what the fuck?
Yeah.
We're going to give you independence and freedom, only without any independence or free. It's like the Liberal Democrats down here, isn't it? Not liberal, not democratic. It's the same thing, although I do believe up there the SNP have got the nationalist bit. They just need to work on the socialist bit a little bit more. change the name of the party just that wee bit. And I reckon wee Nicola could grow a tash.
I think she definitely waxes her lip every hour. But one of the things that I find the funniest about the SNP is they pretty much are socialists at this point. They're far left, they're SJWs, they're all that stuff. They want to control your speech and all that, all those things. But there was an event that happened in the last few months, and it was a bunch of Scottish nationalists, like SNP voters, were down at the English border. And when white English people were trying to come into Scotland, they were stopping them and going, "You should go back to where you came from," and all that. And it's sort of whenever you walk in, if a guy walked into you, like you're in the pub and you came in and you went, "I just seen a guy screaming in someone's face, telling him to go back to where he came from," right? You would be like that. Oh yeah, that was clearly like Bill the Bricky down the road shouting it at some poor Muslim man. But then you turn around and say, no, it was some little skinny guy holding a Starbucks and had a hemp beanie on, shouting it at a white Englishman.
Well, I tell you, that shit'll backfire on them though, because when we don't let their granny go to Blackpool this summer to watch Daniel O'Donnell, there'll be fucking hell to pay, and it'll all be their fault. It'll all be their fucking fault. I'm not having it any other way. Is Daniel O'Donnell still a thing? I guess he must be. I'm not seriously asking you that as if you'd know. Sorry, just a brain fart. So what's the plan now, dude? Apart from obviously you're going to become a dad and your whole life's going to get turned fucking upside down. You're going to be more terrified than you've ever been in your entire life. But apart from that, and the sleeplessness, and covered in shit and sick. But apart from that, what's next?
You're making me so excited, man. You're making me really.
See, the only time in your life someone will throw up on you and shit on you, and you'll be absolutely fine with it.
Yeah,
it's the weirdest thing, because if anyone else did that to me, apart from my son when he was a baby, I'd be really fucking annoyed. Because it's fucking rude. It's rude to shit on someone.
It's like I've been a bouncer before, and if someone is sick on me, I usually grab them by the scruff and throw them out the fucking door.
Don't do that. That's
usually yes. Can't do it. Baby turning around saying, "I've been thrown out of better. I was fucking leaving anyway. Fuck you."
If I had my fucking trainers on, I'd show you right now, pal. I actually heard that line in real life. Not at me. I heard someone say that to a doorman. If I had my trainers on, I'd kick your head in right now. He must have woke up at some point after that, I guess. I don't know when it fucking was. So yeah, what's next, dude? What's next for Dankula?
Well, it's just continuing on YouTube for the time being. Obviously, not a lot of all activism and stuff like that is going to end up having to take place online because of the coof. Nobody can actually do anything. But I'm hoping to. I'm dying to get back out and do live comedy and everything. And it's kind of I've got loads and loads of material. I was supposed to be doing I think about 3 or 4 dates this year. 2 of them were major events, and it's all been canned. And it's weird that once you start doing live comedy, you actually start to usually you're dreading it. When the day approaches, you're like, oh shit. Well, hopefully everything goes well. But now I'm missing it. I miss doing my live events and everything. I'm still enjoying my YouTube. I'm still enjoying the activism, but I want to be out there again. I want to be outside talking to real people again. But fucking China.
It fucked it up for all of us, dude. Spiteful bastards. Just fucking spiteful. That's all it is. It's just while we're on the topic of China, how are you enjoying the US elections at the moment? How do you think that's going?
Absolute shit show. It's just a hell of a shit show. Well, I honestly, I have no idea how it's going to go. I have no idea how it's going to go. I know they're beginning the transition of power, and stuff like that, apparently. But then apparently there's also an investigation going into it and everything. Like, is it going to be Biden? Is it going to be Trump? I have absolutely no idea. I don't know. Like, if it's not Trump, then I'm going to be disappointed that we're not going to get 4 more years of crying. But
and madness.
Oh yeah, crying and madness, and like I miss the days when everyone was like, Trump's going to put everyone into camps. He's going to put us all into camps and everything, and then that obviously never happened.
There's not been any
like,
wars either. He's been very low on the war thing, but obviously the big rumor now is that he's going to have a pop at Iran just before he leaves to ensure a nice smooth transition for Joe Biden. He's going to bomb Iran. And at first I was like, oh, it's all just bollocks. And then a story came out saying that the United Arab Emirates have banned visas for 13 Muslim countries aligned with Iran, including Pakistan, Turkey, and some other kind of stands that are out there. And I'm just thinking, what a fuck you that would be, wouldn't it? I'm just going to start a small war with Iran. And there you go, Mr. Biden. It's all yours, Mr. President. Okay.
Is that the presidential world leader equivalent of taking a shit on your desk before you leave? Clean it up.
How do you like that one? I mean, that would be the greatest fuck you ever won. I'm just going to start a war. Fuck it. I'm going to pardon Flynn and start a war. Fucking.
I think what he should do is he should pardon Assange, pardon Manning, pardon Snowden, pardon Ulbricht, and then just drop the microphone and moonwalk out the White House. Have at it. Fucking deal with that.
I mean, wouldn't you though? You know, it's difficult, isn't it? Because Donald Trump, not the sort of guy you'd want to hang out with very often. The man has a shit on a gold toilet. He's not one of the people. But, you know, apart from the absolute shit posting on Twitter, and which has been fucking beautiful, by the way, as far as I was concerned, every day you'd wake up as he had the caps lock on tonight. Oh, he's had the caps lock on. Fantastic. But anyone leaving under all this, he's played it really well with that. Look, guys, I've done my best. But he's crooked. It's bent. And you got Twitter saying, he's full of shit. It doesn't matter. It's bent. But I think the way to leave would be that. Pardon those guys. Pardon a few fucking randoms. Maybe some of the black guys that Kamala Harris tried to keep in prison. They'd be good ones to pardon.
A few of those would be good, yeah. I think imagine pardon everyone. never mind that war with Iran. And man, he should do something like that. I'll tell you what, he's just going to work through the list just like that. We're going to start with the Unabomber. You know what? El Chapo, forgot about him. Yeah, he can go as well.
That would be epic when I pardon all these, and that noise you can hear is the purge siren. Yeah. It's going to be very exciting.
Oh, Bill Crosby. Pardon Bill Crosby.
Oh, Bill Cosby.
That'd be great.
Oh,
really publicly.
Oh, sweet Jesus. I don't know how I feel about that one.
Well, you got to take the rough with the smooth, fella. That's freedom for you. You can't stop just because he got a bit clever with his fucking medicines and shit a few years ago. Plus, he wouldn't be getting up to it now, would he? It's all right. I mean, Peter Sutcliffe missed the boat. Not that Trump could pardon him anyway. But have you noticed that everyone nowadays, you used to be able to joke about the Yorkshire Ripper as much as you wanted. As much as you wanted. Yeah. Now the cunt's dead. You can't say a fucking word. How dare you? It's not too fucking soon. It's been 40 fucking years. You know,
but making jokes about him being dead?
Just about anything to do with him. Anything, you're not supposed, that's it. You're not allowed.
I mean, make jokes about him being dead. Like, what respect does he need? He murdered like 15 women.
Well, there's like
have some respect for the dead. Well, he made a lot of dead.
Well, he's gone to heaven now, hasn't he, where he gets 72 prostitutes and a hammer. He's fucking sorted. But fucking Frankie Boyle used to joke about him. He wouldn't now, obviously, because, you know, that's not how it works with Frankie Boyle these days. Great disappointment to me, that boy. Great disappointment to me.
I don't know what the hell happened. I have no idea. It's like, I'll admit, see, one of the biggest inspirations for like my comedy, like the whole going on stage and not giving a fuck about what you say. Like, a lot of that came from him. It came from people like him and like Jim Jeffries and stuff like that. And that's the thing that bothers me. A lot of people who inspired like my comedy completely 180'd on their ideals. They just like, and this is the thing, is I was talking about this just the other day, where these comedians are like really offensive. They have no filter. They say and do whatever they want on stage. They get really big. They get really popular. They get multi-million-pound contracts. And then when they've got obviously a big fat pension, a great big mansion, and all these other things, they then sit beside their pool and go drinking Cristal, going, I think offensive jokes are actually quite bad and we shouldn't do them anymore. Fuck you.
Yeah, you were making jokes about fucking kids with Downs last year, mate.
Yeah, exactly. It's just hypocritical, but like that's the equivalent. Do you know what that's like? Did you hear about the Muslim man that played the lottery ticket?
No.
Right. He played the lottery ticket. This is a true story. He played the lottery. He fucking won. He won millions and millions. But the problem is that counts as gambling, and gambling under Islam is illegal. Yeah. So the Muslim community came out and went, that's terrible. That's shocking what you did. You know, you broke Islamic law. And the guy turned around and went, I'm sorry. I'll never do it again. Right? That's what it feels like. It's the same where it's like, oh, I'm not going to do it again. And it's kind of like, yeah, after you're set up and sorted for life, but if anybody wants to get to the same position that you're in, you're going to attack them for it and go after them
Isn't
for
that
it.
how
And
everything works now, though? You've got like, in a complete, by the way, you talk about comedians getting famous and letting you down, and you mocked him before. Bill Cosby wouldn't let you down, dude. He wouldn't do a 180. He wouldn't do that shit. He'd take you to a party, show you a good time.
Wouldn't let me down, but he'd let a few downers into my drink. Probably.
Oh yeah, you'd wake up feeling uncomfortable. But I mean, this thing about, you know, ruining it for every. I nearly went so much for. Why am I trying to behave with you on the fucking show? Like last week we had the Emma Kenny, who does the psychology stuff for This Morning. And I behaved right up till the end when I talked about using bolt guns on paedophiles and then using them as fertilizer in the third world and for experimenting on, because purse in their eyes, rabbits can't tell you how it feels. Pedos could tell you. Yeah, fucking nips that, mate. Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Write it down. So I saved that for the end. I did well. The week before I did well. And tonight I'm like behaving. I don't know what the fuck's... It's really weird. But getting back completely to the point, that turning your back on everything that made you, isn't that we're seeing on a massive scale now with like Twitter and fucking Facebook run by the strangest looking motherfucker? What is happening to Mark Zuckerberg, dude? His inside is starting to show.
I think he's a machine.
Yeah,
I think he's been replaced by a machine.
Well, he's faulty though. The fucking eyebrows are falling out.
I have no idea what the hell is going on with him. It's so bloody weird. It's like looking at him. I don't know what it is. Even like the way he drank water, like at that hearing, he was
like he had it explained to him.
Like that, and I'm just like, you're not a person. It's like you're some machine or like ethereal being, like masquerading as a human. He just doesn't seem natural. Like you look at interviews with him, like way back when Facebook first started, and he's a little like university student, and he's got a bit of swagger and a bit of emotion, like to him. But now, like I don't know what the hell he is. I don't think it's him. I think he's been replaced.
Oh, you thought they could have done better than that with their money, though. I mean, it's like last time I saw anything like that was at fucking Disney World in the Pirates of the Caribbean tour. The weirdest shit.
It's like an animatronic for my kids, right?
Fucking Rick Baker came out of retirement and made the motherfucker. But the water thing, I'm 100%, because I remember watching that thinking, that looks like someone's explained to him that people drink water. You know, someone just said, do you know people drink that? What is drinking? Well, you put it to your mouth and... There we go, I've done that now. It's just, he's a creepy... And then you got the guy from Twitter who looks like tall Tyrion Lannister. with his big fucking tramp's beard now, and he does his yoga all day, and then the whole thing. They're turning everything now, so they thrived on the open internet, and now that they have thrived, fuck you all.
Yeah, it's like Jack from Twitter looks like a guy that sits on a street corner trying to convince you to join his religion, but he holds the services for his religion in the back of his van. Like that's what he looks like now. And it's just like these people are meant to be billionaires and they look like the elite and everything. And it's like if I saw Jack at a music festival, I'd be like that, right? You've got a lot of drugs on you. You're like, give me your phone number. I'll give you a call later, mate. But like, but that's the thing is, I think Jack at Twitter now. This is the thing. Like, I know that in Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg he's the head honcho. He's built it that way so that nothing can happen without his say. So, I think that Jack is, even though he's recognised as the captain of Twitter, it's everybody else is holding the wheel.
Yeah.
And it's mostly staff and advisors. And the problem is because they are in Silicon Valley, which is in that very predominantly like left area of California.
Very soy heavy. Yeah.
Drastic levels of soy detected in the atmosphere. But because that's the type of people that constantly get hired, that is what's bleeding into basically the terms of services of the company. I mean, if you've got a company and you're hiring the overwhelming majority of like far left people, then that's going to bleed into your company.
I would love to hire a load of far left people. I'm going to be honest. I would fucking love an office full of them, and at the first town hall really get that fucking party started. Just really get it. See how fast you could get them to fucking pack up their shit and leave. Because is it Random House, the shit in the bed now, because of Jordan Peterson's new book?
Yeah.
And I was reading the reason.
Employees started crying.
Oh, and they were going, but you know, he's transphobic. He's like, I don't know if he is. And then it was, he's like the ultimate white supremacist. He's like, I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think Jordan Peterson's the ultimate much, fucking.
No, the reason it gets called transphobic is because he refused to use gender pronouns.
He didn't even do that.
Them, them, zero.
Yeah, no, he didn't. He didn't even refuse, did he? Because he said, "I'd use what anyone wanted. I just don't want to be compelled."
Yeah,
that was his issue,
speech,
and which is a lot better than my excuse for not using them because I was just fucking stupid. You are not them. I'm not referring to you as them or Xi. I can't. No, I'm too old. I can't be doing with that shit now. And I get suspended. I was suspended 3 times in one day last week on Twitter, and YouTube demonetized us because I called Jessica Yaniv a fat nonce. But it's a fat nonce. So in when you put your appeal in. I put, in fairness, he is a fat nonce. I said, is it the fat bit or the nonce bit? And they just came back with appeal denied. Go figure.
I think, yeah.
We're never getting super chats back, Aidan. We keep saying it every week.
I finally, after in January, I put another appeal in for the monetization. I finally heard back from someone on fucking Twitter about 2 weeks ago that went, right, I've had someone have a look. If you make the changes to your channel, you can apply again in 30 days. I went, what changes? And he was like, ha, 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 ha. It's just fucking, that's it. Not even a clue. So it's like, I had to ring Graham up and go, dude, I don't think we're getting the super chats back, mate. But what else did you call a fat nonce, dude? What do you call them? Overweight sex offender?
Well, that's the thing. Is at least be honest about it. Like, just turn back and say, "Look, I know they are a fat nonce, but you can't say that."
Yeah, if they just told me that, I'd respect that.
Honest.
But we now have a permanent warning for bullying and harassment for calling a fat nonce a fat nonce. And I mention this every 3 shows.
Try to sue more people. Try to sue even more people now.
Well, of course, it's that time of year. Needs extra money. Christmas is coming up.
Yeah, fair enough.
He's got to buy presents for all the young'uns he talks to on the internet. And it costs money. This shit costs money. Oh, I'm sorry, Graham. I'm sorry.
No, I don't want to think about it, man. Don't
It's
do that
always
to
the
me.
last bit of the interview. Something goes wrong. You need to cut me off before this bit, mate. Something clearly goes fucking wrong. There's still so much I wanted to talk to you about, but we are kind of butting up against it. I know you've had a busy day. You've had a busy day.
Had a very busy day.
But say it's been a fucking pleasure talking to you, dude. I'm so glad we finally got you on, and I do hope we get to talk again somewhere down the line. Maybe even ship you down here when you fucking. Once they get to the walking stage and you think, I can't wait to get out of this fucking house, we'll give you a shout. We'll send you a train ticket and pop on down to the studio and we'll do a thing. But overall, Count Dankula, thank you so much.
No problem. I enjoyed it.
I'm glad. That's even better. That's a double payoff. I'll catch you on the Twitter, mate. Keep it up, dude. Take care.
No worries. See you later.
See ya. There we go, Count Dankula. What a nice man. What a nice man.
Yeah,
I was expecting the Nazi to be far nastier.
The weird thing with Dank is, and this has changed. I remember someone asked me a couple of years ago with it, and it was like I didn't really like his content, but I respected him. I respected him and what he represents and what he does and everything, even if his stuff isn't for me. You love his Mad Lads, though, don't you? You genuinely.
Well, I think he puts the Mad Lads stuff together really, really well because he takes all that historical information and does the thing I admire most when whether it's science, history, whatever it is, take something complex and deliver it in an engaging and entertaining manner.
I tell you what though, my greatest hit for him, and it didn't come up tonight, but it's okay. But it's when he did a speech at the UKIP, the parliamentary meeting thing, the yearly, what's it called? Conference.
There you go. Conference.
He did a speech at the conference saying it was fucking amazing because you could tell half the room weren't on board with what he was saying or anything, but he was just like at every point, even with the Tommy Robinson thing, when he's done like big, the big talks that they do where they sit up on the street and they've got a stage, and he knows that half the people there don't give a fuck about what he's saying, but he stood up there and I
to be honest with everything that he says.
It's the free speech thing though. The speeches
with
he gives
everything that he
good.
says, whether dick jokes aside and everything else, the guy just tells fucking common sense truth.
Yeah, it's
very hard to argue against that stuff.
Yeah.
That's why they ignore him. But more power to him. I'm just glad he came on the show. I'm buzzing about that. I enjoyed that.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Let's see who's even got Last Dance. Did I say hello to Last Dance earlier? How you doing, fella? I hope you're well. Angel Breath, Melanie Howard, Marmalade Dreams. That's new. Marmalade Dreams. Sally and Gannonthral. I've said that again without fucking it up. I'm getting pro at this shit. And everyone else we said hello. But guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I know I did. That was a good chat. Now, what's next? Next week on the show, because we've got interviews right up until our Christmas show. And I know some people have asked about the more monologue stuff and us just ripping off it. We're looking at doing something like that again and mixing it up a bit. But with the interviews, next week, Buck Angel is on the show. Buck's going to be a fucking great guest. There's a guy that's lived a life, possibly 2 or 3. So Buck Angel's going to be joining us next week. The week after that, live in this studio, is going to be Richie Allen. Now, we might start a bit earlier, because when Richie and I get to chatting, we do tend to get to chatting. But that's the week after. And then on the 17th of December, we've got a Christmas show. And on the Christmas show, just joining us, just for shits and giggles, Drone Tech's going to be with us. I believe Donovan, Crypt Daddy's going to be with us. And we'll try and get a couple of others. Well, yeah, I've been chatting with him. He's going to pop on as well.
Are we going to get anyone from North America that's not like impaired in some way?
No.
Not a bit.
I don't know anyone that's not impaired.
Just the silly ones then, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm only saying that because I know he's watching.
So that's going to be great. And we have got some guests. I can't I don't want to mention them yet, but we're starting looking at some really cool ones for next year as well, actually. So we're going to give it the best, but I'm really looking forward to next week. Book Angel will be great to talk to. Do Google him. And, of course, Richie Allen the week after. That'll be fucking awesome. That'll be awesome. Because I don't want to talk too much COVID and shit like that with Richie. There's a million things to talk to Richie about. Perhaps about Richie. That would be kind of cool, wouldn't it? That'd make a nice change. That'd make a very nice change. What really freaks me out when we have a guest on via remote, I can see this, you guys can't, is it stops on the screen they're at, and he looks very happy. Just like, no, Alan, I'm not planning on talking to Nick Griffin. Remember, on Saturday, Smoke Steve hosts the International Pub on this channel. I popped in last week. You should pop in this week. Just go in, have a couple of drinks. It's from 11 p.m. UK time, or whatever time that might be in whatever colonial shithole you're in. You look confused.
Was I there this Saturday?
Yeah. You were really drunk.
Yeah, I don't remember. I had really expensive gin, and it just went down a tree.
Yes, I saw it coming as well. I was watching the eyes.
Yeah.
You go red, you get a bit angry, loudy.
Yeah, you said then you were away. Like, Saturday, I was like, was I even there?
Oh, yeah, you were there.
Oh, fucking Soph came on, didn't she, slagging me off?
No, she wasn't slagging you off.
Was she not?
No.
Oh, it's all slowly forming in my head again.
No, she wasn't slagging you off. She was being very nice.
See you Saturday, everyone.
So yeah, that's on Saturday, the International Pub with Smoke Steve. Make sure you get yourself in there. I don't think I'm going to be able to start any of the new stuff before New Year, but remember, Saturday Smoke Steve, next Thursday, Book Angel, be here, 10 o'clock UK time. Until then, have a time, I guess. Have fun. And again, happy Thanksgiving, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.